Welcome to a new episode of Dialogues Live. My name is Helena Demuynck. I am your host, and today we are talking about imposter syndrome, or better, beyond imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is a topic, a concept, something that you can read about a lot, that you can think about a lot, that you maybe feel. I guess most of us sometimes feel like an imposter. The term, however, imposter syndrome for me is a little bit strange because a syndrome is something medical that needs therapy. And basically, feeling like an imposter is not really a syndrome. It's basically a chronic self-doubt despite evidence of competence. Recognize that? And it is rooted not in personal defect, but in a distortion of belonging and self-trust. So today what we'll do is we will explore what sits beneath it, how it shows up, and I will give you a few ways to loosen its grip. Before we do that, I would like to extend an invitation. Feel free to share your views and experiences in the comments, even if you are watching this delayed in the replay, because I'm monitoring the chat and the comments. And if needed, I will get back to you with whatever it is that you need. So participate in this conversation. That's the whole idea. I can sit here, of course, and tell you what I know and how I experience imposter syndrome and how I work with it with my clients. But we can give the conversation a lot more interaction if we have your input. Don't let your imposter syndrome keep you from doing this, all right? That's the whole thing. So what is really going on? For me, the imposter syndrome is something that is built on three very important pillars that you probably also know. The first one is perfectionism. Perfectionism is basically control replacing confidence. I'm a reformed perfectionist. Sometimes it still shows up. And it is one of the things that we can link to imposter syndrome today. We try to perform, and we try to perform extremely well. We put our own standards like this will be what is needed in order to be taken seriously, in order to be seen as a professional, in order to do a good job, in order to deliver. Perfectionism is a very dangerous concept to live by, and it's extremely hard, not only for the people around you, but also for yourself. I will work on a Dialogue Live that is specifically on perfectionism. But what I can tell you right now is what helped me a lot to deal with perfectionism is to think about every interaction and everything I do with or for somebody else, be it professional or personal. Don't make it about you. Make it about them. Make it about the person or the people that you're interacting with and what it is that they need or that they request. And you will have a completely different energy and a completely different outcome and a completely different experience. But perfectionism is one of the three pillars that we could put under imposter syndrome. The second one is the inner critic. That's old voices in our heads that sometimes seem like new voices. We can add voices. Most of the voices that we call our inner critic have been planted in our heads during childhood. Most of them have been planting in our heads during childhood by people who meant very well with us, or parents, caregivers, teachers, friends. Most of these statements or ideas were meant to keep you safe, to keep you secure, although reality shows that there's also inner critic voices that were put there with not that good intentions, but that's a different story. But basically, our inner critic keeps score. It's focused on what goes wrong, on what doesn't work well, on where we fail. It doesn't celebrate successes. And that's another one that is related to our imposter syndrome. And the third element or third pillar is limiting beliefs. And these are inherited or self-fabricated scripts about worth, visibility, and readiness. A very good example that I see very often in the work that I do with women leaders is this imposter syndrome based on the limiting beliefs when they are preparing for salary negotiations, when they are preparing for a promotion conversation, or when they are applying for a new job. Think of it. How many of us have or know other people that get stuck in their career because of limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome? I'm not good enough for this job. I don't have all the qualifications for this job, etc., etc. You name them. I know that you know them. It is something that is extremely research-based, common for women mid-career, even high-level executives. So imposter syndrome is basically related with these three pillars. And that means that it's not like a simple thing to solve. It means that it is complex. It's not complicated, but it is complex. And it's important to understand these elements. All right. So I guess that you all know examples of these three fundamentals. Just think of some of those so you can become aware of them. When are you using perfectionism? When are you listening too much to your inner critic? And when do your limiting beliefs play? Or maybe a mix of them, where you start to feel that you are not at the right place, that you do not deserve what you want, that people will see you for who you really are. Just think of that in your own situation. I just give you a minute. I will ask some questions that you can think of right now, or you can write them down, or you can just pause if you watch the replay. Some questions that will create your awareness and that might shift your vision or view on what is really going on, mainly in your head. I would say sometimes also in your body, especially the sensations that you feel, the stress you feel, the anxiety that you feel when you are in this imposter setting. So think of a specific context. I would say maybe your professional context. Where does your need for perfection block your progress? Where is it that you don't move forward, or that you procrastinate, or that you delay because you have this need for perfection? Another question: whose voice does your inner critic echo? As I said, our inner critic, or the voice in our head, or voices in our head, are planted there during our childhood. So if you hear some things come up, who is it that you hear? It's important to understand who it is that you hear, because then you can have a different conversation and you can say, sure, Dad, I know you're worried when I do something new or when I go on an adventure. I understand that you are worried, but I'm perfectly fine. Just, I'll be safe. Things like that. But if you know who it is, then you can have a different conversation. An important one is what evidence contradicts the story that you're not good enough? Think of a specific moment, a specific setting or context where you feel you are not good enough to ask for that project, not good enough to ask for that promotion, not good enough to apply for another job. What evidence contradicts that story? Think of that. If you don't know the answer, then have a conversation with somebody you trust about this. It could be a colleague, it could be your boss, it could be a mentor, it could be a friend, but somebody that can help you and sponsor you and support you in finding contradicting evidence. That's a great practice. And you can, especially when you do this with a colleague or with a friend, you can return the favor. Yeah. Another question for you is, what would good enough look like if rooted in self-respect instead of fear? Think of what I said. Don't make it about you. Make it about what your stakeholders need or want or deserve. What is good enough in that setting? And another question, that's an important one. Which belief about success or worth are you ready to retire? Are you ready to get rid of? Based on maybe an aha moment that you have now during this small, short reflection period, what belief about success or worth can you let go of? Because it doesn't serve you any longer. Think of that. So write down what lands, or just notice what lands. This is reflection time. This is absolutely what I want to do here with Dialogues Live. It is to pause a little bit and to bring you into a mindset and a state of presence where you can think about what is going on in this setting, what is going on with imposter in your situation specifically. Why am I doing this? I absolutely want to normalize reflection, and I also want to normalize coaching. Coaching, professional coaching, is something that a lot of us have heard of and some of us have experienced. Professional coaching in corporate life normally is set for C-suite, VP level, and sometimes below. Very often it is set as fixing a problem, while coaching can be so much more. We are in a constant rat race. We are constantly performing and producing and chasing goals and objectives. And we have very little time to reflect on what is really going on, what it is that we are doing that is no longer serving us. Why do we feel overwhelmed and depleted sometimes and so tired without really knowing why? And so a coaching setting helps you to stand still and to reflect. And a coach is asking you questions like I have been doing the last 5 minutes. The coach doesn't have the answers. I don't have the answers for you. I have a setting, I have a context. I can create awareness and understanding. And then it is about applying it on your own specific context. And when you have some insights, when things are landing, a coach is also supporting you to implement new strategies, to unlearn things and to learn new things so you can show up fully in a new and grown way. That's basically the whole idea. So I want to normalize coaching. Coaching is something that I've been doing for 20 years as a coach. And before that, I've been doing for almost 20 years in recruitment and search, where a big part of my role was career coaching. And so basically, all this experience I have consolidated in an application that I've built and that has been launched last month. It is called Dialogues with Helena. If you have a QR code reader, at the left top of my screen, you see a QR code where you have the link to Dialogues with Helena, but I will also put it in the chat. So you have the link. What I did here was, or my goal or my intention is to make coaching available for every woman in every moment, wherever you are, whenever you need it, because it is an online application that is hyper personalized, really focused on what you need on your setting once you filled out the profile. And then you can just have a conversation with my avatar. And my avatar is trained on my coaching expertise, my programs, my knowledge. I would say my wisdom, if I may. And so basically, it is asking you questions like I just asked you before. It is asking you to go deeper, to go inside, to do your check in, and then bring your resources in order also to implement what you have found. So basically, I'm really happy to be able to introduce this because this does really make coaching accessible for everybody, not only for the privileged ones that have a budget or where the corporate has a budget. And it is also accessible at any time because my clients are also using it because we have our weekly or bi-weekly or monthly sessions. But sometimes right before that important meeting, you might need some advice or some interactions or some reflection time, or in the evening after a very busy day where you're completely exhausted and you have some things going on in your head and you really would like to brainstorm or be challenged or be sponsored or supported. That is actually why I have been building dialogues with Helena. So it is confidential, it is secure, it is hyper personalized. It's a complete platform where you find your resources, where you have reflection prompts, where you have a memory about all the conversations that you had with my avatar before. So it's your own private space. And I invite you to try it. It's dialogueswithhelena.app. Just try it. It's free. There's a paying version, but basically you can start for free, and everybody that is registering and starting a conversation in October, so that's another 10 days, gets 10 free credits. That's more than 1 hour of coaching time. Why wouldn't you start? So this is basically something that I wanted to share with you. I will not give you a tour. When you go to the application, when you go to dialogueswithhelena.app, you'll find all the information and then you can sign up. You will be asked the first time to sign up and to enter a code just to check that you are a real person. And then you can sign in. You have a tour, you have a complete explanation. And if you need more, just check some of our former episodes where I gave a short tour during the Dialogues Live. But just go there and check the tools, the journaling, the reflection prompts. So everything that is stored in one private space. And so this is not a generic AI. It's not like you are asking your questions into the AI universe, not knowing where it goes. This is a secure, encrypted space, especially for you. I built that especially for you. And I build it in a way that I would like to have it myself. It is optimized for laptop and tablets. There's speech to text function there. We are now optimizing also the mobile version, but you can use the mobile version as well. So this being said, let's go to some doable practices to deal with imposter syndrome. Just some things that you can try out, see if it works for you, or go a little bit deeper with the coaching tool, with Dialogues with Helena, but just some things here that are helping you. The first one is awareness. So name the imposter voice, even humorously. You can give it a name. Just notice when it shows up. Yeah. And notice that it is not you. So Sometimes we have our ego running, and when the imposter syndrome shows up, we're not even aware of it. We just think it's us, it's me, it's a reality. If you are becoming aware of your imposter voice, just notice it, right? And you can say, hey, there you are again. How are you doing? Are you worried about me again? Have this kind of conversation instead of letting it control you. Try it. Might not work for you, but if it does, it's good. A second thing you can do is start tracking. Notice triggers or moments or roles or people that activate it. Just understand when it shows up. Again, this is the second step. First of all is awareness, but the second one is to understand when it shows up, to see if there are patterns. Okay. The third thing is try to reframe it. Try to understand what it is saying, because very often the underlying inner critic is trying to keep you safe. So let's say that there's kind of good intentions involved. So it is about reframing, and you can reframe by looking at things in a different way. And if you have a problem doing that, then you can talk with a trusted friend or colleague in order to make it more visible. Yeah. So if you are really doubting about this promotion, or if you really feel so anxious to talk with your boss about a salary raise, talk about it with somebody, right? And chances are, if this is somebody that has your back, chances are that they will support you in a way that you can learn from, in a way that you would also probably support a colleague or a friend or a family member, but you do not do yourself that favor. See if you can reframe it for yourself. And if that doesn't work, reframe it with somebody you trust. Or just go to the app, go to Dialogues with Helena and talk about this. I can assure you that my AI avatar will give you a lot of questions and also a lot of support and reframing options to see things in a different way. What you can also try is mentorship. Support others that have doubts, because it mirrors healing back to you. So if you are managing a team, if you are a mentor, if you are a role model for people, then take this up, support people in order to help them to overcome their imposter syndrome, and it will open doors for you as well. Try it. Those who have tried know that this works. Something that works very good is the embodiment part. If you feel that imposter syndrome coming up, or if you feel that it's perfectionism, or this inner critic is yelling very loud, or your limiting beliefs are like crushing you, then pause and breathe. Pause and ground. Watch your posture. Sit straight or stand up and breathe. Breathe through your imposter syndrome. I'm not going into detail here, but physiologically give your body and your brain a signal that it is okay, that nothing is going to threaten you. Just breathe. Just create awareness before high-stake moments. I have breathing practices with my clients. I have breathing practices basically all the time, but especially when you feel that you are overwhelmed by something, that you feel anxious, just breathe as deep as you can And do this for a couple of minutes if possible. Before that important meeting, before that negotiation conversation, before that difficult conversation, if you have to go to the restroom, and breathe for 3-5 minutes. And always breathe in 3 or 4 counts and breathe out 6 or 8 counts, whatever makes you comfortable, depending on how much breathing exercise or practice you have. Just try it. It's the most accessible and simple practice that you can have. If you don't know how to start this, there's so many breathing applications downloadable on your mobile that can help you with that. It's a life changer and sometimes a life saver. And another thing to deal with your imposter syndrome, celebrate. Keep record and track and share your wins. Ask for feedback. Don't shy away. Receive acknowledgement. If somebody says you did that great, say thank you instead of, yeah, that's normal. Keep track of your words and your successes and what you manifest. It is so important. And especially women, as women, we don't do this enough. We think that people will see it, or we think that should not give us this taps on the shoulder. We feel that we should be more modest. That's not true. That's not true. Be proud of what you have accomplished. Be proud of your successes, even if they're really small. Just record them and share them. Share them on LinkedIn. Share them on Facebook if you are on Facebook. Share them with colleagues. Share them with your friends. Celebrate. Everything that is a reason to celebrate, use it. So, all of this is giving you some ideas on how to deal with imposter syndrome. All of this are starters. We have to start somewhere. The interesting thing is that there's this gap between knowing and doing. There's this gap between awareness and implementation. There's this gap between I want to change this and developing new attitudes, developing new views, or unlearning things. And that's where a coach can help you. If you have a coach, that's amazing. Be it a professional coach or a life coach, he or she can help you with this. If you don't, just try Dialogues. Dialogues with Helena.app is basically going to give you a foundation and an understanding and an experience of what it is to be coached. And I wish you to have that experience because it can be life-changing. And it's so important to have this possibility for personal and professional growth. And that's basically, as I already said, the main reason why I made this accessible for everybody for free. So there you go. You have no reason not to try it. So hope to see you next week. Next week, we will be talking about strategic career planning from a completely different angle than you would expect. So stay with us Mondays, 8 p.m. Central European Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Thank you for being with me. If you have any questions, any feedback, leave it in the comments. I will be monitoring it, even if you watch the replay, or just direct message me. You can find me. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook. It's very easy to send me a message, and I will certainly take it from there. So have a great rest of your week. Take care. Hope to see you next week, and hope to see you inside Dialogues with Helena. Take care. Much love. Bye.